As we go to air, Joe Biden bombshell is sending shockwaves around the world after weeks of pressure to quit the race for the White House, and amid signs he was digging in, he suddenly dropped out of the presidential election.
Yeah, we have team coverage of this extraordinary decision with reporters at the White House, in Joe Biden's hometown and also in Canberra.
Yeah, let's first go to our US Bureau Chief David Woywood, who's at the White House. Dave, this is an extraordinary move just months before the November election.
Yeah, it certainly is. Good morning, guys. This has upended this election campaign in the most spectacular of fashions. As you point out, we know that the walls had been closing in on Joe Biden for a number of weeks, ever since that disastrous debate performance. And we've seen those senior Democrats now for a number of weeks piling on publicly, saying that Joe Biden had to now withdraw from this race. Well, it appears that message has now got through. He has released this statement today. It's quite an extraordinary statement too. He says, "While it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term." So extraordinary news there from US President Joe Biden. Those same senior Democrats who had been piling on to him in recent weeks, they have praised the president today and his decision. They have also praised his significant, substantial public contribution as well over the past 50 years, almost 50 years in public life. And the reaction today down here at the White House, well, it was swift as well. It was swift as well, and a number of people here reacting at the White House.
He will lose it anyway, so
Right decision.
Yeah, smart decision.
I think it's probably a wise decision for the country. He wasn't up to the task. The Democratic Party needs somebody who can carry the weight of the White House.
Is Kamala that person?
I don't think so.
So now it's up to the Democrats. They'll have to recalibrate. They will have to find a new candidate. But we've already seen some major reaction to the Clintons. They have piled on. They have congratulated Joe Biden now on making this decision. We've heard from Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer too. So a monumental morning here in American politics, guys.
Yeah, with 3/4 of the country saying he's too old to do it. It's just so late, isn't it, David? Joe Biden made it clear, though, who he wants to run in his place.
Yes, he has. Look, he didn't mention her by name in that official statement when he first released it, but he released another supplementary one online a short time after, saying, "Today, I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year. Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do this." So Joe Biden there throwing his weight and his support behind his deputy, his vice presidential pick, of course, Kamala Harris. She has been incredibly loyal to him over this pretty unstable period for the president as well. Look, it's not a fait accompli, though. She'll now have to take that support to the convention, where other senior Democrats are also backing her in right now. So you'd have to say it's almost a done deal, but she'll still need to get that support on the convention floor.
Is it too little, too late? Let's go to Miley Hogan in Joe Biden's home state of Delaware. Miley, momentous day, right? But US politics is one of those things that continually changes. No sign yet of the president. He was in isolation the last few days.
Yeah, good morning, guys. No signs of US President Joe Biden at this stage. He does remain in isolation. He has been isolating at his beach house here in Delaware since Wednesday, since that COVID diagnosis. His doctor did release a statement earlier today saying that his symptoms had improved significantly. And in that original statement that Joe Biden put out, he did say that he would address the nation in more detail about his decision later in the week. So perhaps we will see him at that time, but unclear exactly when. Look, while he has been in isolation, that public pressure has really been building on him to step aside. But Joe Biden was staying defiant. It was only 2 days ago that he released a statement saying that he was looking forward to getting back to the campaign trail. And his campaign managers had been out doing television interviews saying that Joe Biden was in this race and he was in it to win it. But it does appear that privately, while he was in isolation, he has been reflecting on this pressure, reflecting on his next steps, and now he has made that decision. And it really has upended this race. Democrats. We have heard as well from Donald Trump now, the Republican nominee. He has put out a tweet saying that crooked Joe Biden was not fit to run for president, and it is certainly not fit to serve and never was. He only attained the position of president by lies, fake news, and not leaving his basement. Look, while this really has upended the Democrats, also the Republicans now will be looking at their strategy. They would have had it in place to take on Joe Biden, and now they will need to reassess that with whoever the Democrats put up. And with just over 110 days to go before the election, it's going to be a lot of background activity going on here to try to get their strategy in place as well.
Yeah, it's just been the only conversation, hasn't it, in the last few months about whether he would withdraw. Thank you very much to both our reporters there in the US. We'll cross back to you soon. And back home, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has weighed in this morning. Live to Rob Scott in Canberra. What's our PM had to say?
Yeah, morning, Nat. So, the pair have actually forged a pretty strong relationship, Joe Biden and Anthony Albanese, over the past 3 or 4 years. A good working relationship, a good friendship. The Prime Minister, no doubt, sad to see Joe Biden going. He released his own statement on Twitter not long after the President put out his own. He says, "Thank you for your leadership and ongoing service, President Biden. The Australia-US alliance has never been stronger, with our shared commitment to democratic values, international security, economic prosperity and climate action for this and future generations." Now, the Prime Minister and the government here in Australia more generally have been preparing for the possibility of Trump to return to the White House. Our ambassador to the United States, former Prime Minister Kevin Rudd, has been working overtime to shore up his connections and Australia's connections within the Republican Party. Today's announcement from Joe Biden makes that work even more urgent than ever, guys.
Absolutely. Could be time well spent. Thank you, Rob.